And so I am happy to introduce one of our good friends, Reverend Raymond Anderson. Reverend Ray is with us regularly, and I imagine most of you know him. But in case you don't, let me just tell you a little bit about him. He is a New Thought interfaith minister. He has a wealth of formal degrees in a variety of fields, such as holistic life coaching. He teaches American Sign Language and martial arts and is an actor and American Sign Language performing artist. He is a Reiki master, teacher, and practitioner, and he has published 2 books. One is Visual Music, the Art of Interpreting Songs in American Sign Language, and Moving Mountains, the journey of transformation. He has been called a Renaissance man because of his passion for self-development and personal transformation. He loves to teach, mentor, and speak, as well as create artistically. His incredible life journey holds much inspiration for us all. Please help me welcome Reverend Ray.
Hello? Oh, yeah, there we go. So let us start with, we must not be disturbed by the contradiction of objective experience. We shall have to know that the truth we announce is superior to the condition which it is to change. We shall have to see that God in us recognizes God in the other person, until the God in the other person recognizes God in us. This cannot be done by human will. It is only when we recognize the pure essence of the spiritual principle inherent and incarnate in each of us that we find that the thought arising from the atmosphere of spiritual realization has no adversary. From Ernest Holmes, It's Up to You, Chapter 5, The Real You. So I entitled today's talk, Forgiveness 101, because this is just me, just being transparent, saying, when you think you got forgiveness, you don't. The moment you think there's nothing to forgive is the moment it's time to go back and say, there has to be something. And the reason I say that is because imagine that there are 3 different selves. There's S-E-L-F, all lowercase, S-E-L-F, capital S, lowercase e-L-F, and then S-E-L-F, capitals, S, capital E, capital L, capital F. All lowercase, you made me mad, I'm pissed off, I'm not going to forgive you. Lowercase. Don't have anything to forgive. But I hold a grudge. Why are you holding a grudge if you have nothing to forgive? Lowercase. Capital S self knows that there is this thing, this whatever you call it, that I'm supposed to forgive. I might not be able to, but I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But what you did to me last Saturday but I know there's this thing called forgiveness, and I know that it can help me. All capital self knows you cannot offend me. There is no ego that can be hurt. There's nothing that can happen outside of this circle. So here you are, lowercase s self, all. And many of you who already know me know that I have this very interesting background experience of growing up in, a household of stuff. So when I was last here, I believe it was April, in May 2nd, my second oldest brother made his transition. So I go home to Pittsburgh for, what we do when a family member transitions. While prepping to go to Pittsburgh, what does Ray do? In the car, Ray is, Om Shanti Shanti. I'm chanting and praying and treating. If I had room, I would have danced. Because I'm prepping. I got to get the aura strong. Because I know what I'm getting ready to go into. See, when you go home, what did Ram Dass say? If you ever want to know how enlightened you really are, go home and visit some family members. So I know what I'm getting ready to go into. Going home normally for a regular visit is one thing. Going home when there's a funeral is an altogether different kind of creature. Altogether different. One is a puppy that I got from the pound and it's, oh. The other one is a wolf or a dingo out in Australia in the outback that I'm not trying to pet. Just saying. So I get there, we start with the stuff that, happens. And I already know that I'm going to see relatives who haven't seen me since I was little 8-year-old Monty. Where's Monty at? Oh, there he is, hiding. Oh, what you drawing? They haven't seen me since then. I'm not that person anymore. But I know their expectation is that that's still me. So I know they're going to speak to me as if that's me. And it's not. So I'm already prepping the forgiveness. Boom! There's the card, forgiveness. I've forgiven you before you even did anything to me. So I'm prepping. So things happen, and make a long story short, we get to the point where no one is really stepping forward to take care of what needs to be taken care of for the minister, etc. And soon as I realize, y'all aren't making the phone calls, y'all gonna ask me, aren't you? Start prepping my no. I have to start prepping my no. I have to tell my mother, no, I'm not doing my brother's funeral. I'm not going to do the eulogy. And the reason being, I know what they expect. They expect the tambourine slapping, fall on the floor, in the name of Jesus, minister. That's what they're expecting. That's not me. I could do it. I've been acting for some time now. I could do it. I watched Tyler Perry play Medea. I can fake it. But is that being authentic to myself? No. It's me preaching a God that's separate. And then somewhere in there I have to say something about hell and being saved from hell, and then an altar call to invite people up that you want to be saved. That's not true to me. So I have to tell my mother, no. I'm not going to do your son's funeral or my brother's. And then I know the other family members are going to come to me, so I have to prep my no. And then I'm thinking, what is the healthiest way that I can say no and still be true to myself? Because they're going to ask, why not? I'm not comfortable. And I know my family well enough to know that they're probably not going to ask what that means. They're going to make their assumptions, which they did. Oh, he's shy. That's why he's not comfortable. It's his brother, and, he's in mourning, and that's not it either. But assume what you will. Now, if you would have asked, if they would have asked, I would have told them. And that would have been a whole different thing. But if you ask, I will tell. I do my best to be as authentic and as transparent as possible, because I said way back when that one day when Barbara Walters interviewed me, I didn't want her pulling out a card saying, we heard that. No, you didn't. Because it's already on the table. So I tell them no. They get mad. I tell another no. They get even angrier. And then there's the piece in there where Tracy's introduced as my girlfriend or my wife. From family members who know better, Tracy is introduced. My mother introduces Tracy as my girlfriend or my wife to a cousin. Mom, really? Okay, I can't have this conversation with you right now because lowercase s self, things come up. And when it comes up, we get into that, I don't want to forgive, I don't want to. Because there's this righteous indignation that says, I deserve to be mad at you. And you deserve to know that I'm mad at you because you took the last Krispy Kreme donut that was sitting on the table. And you knew I wanted that donut. Now, I don't know that you knew that I wanted the donut, but I'm going to assume that you knew because you saw how I looked at it. You saw me eyeballing it. Regardless of the fact that I had one in my hand already, you saw me. You saw me trying to hurry up and eat this one and get to that one. And you ate it anyway. So I need you to know that I'm mad at you, and I know that you know that I'm mad at you. Lowercase s self. Righteous indignation. I need you to know. I need you to suffer. And when you don't suffer, I suffer more, so I have to get even more angry to find, there you go, barbed wire. I got to get, in some way, I need to, lowercase s self. So there's this time when these two get together and they sort of meet. And it's, I know that if I stick my hand in a barbecue and take out a hot coal, the chunk of coal feels no pain. The hand that's holding it is feeling the pain. I'm not letting the coal go so the coal is okay. I'm letting it go so I'm okay. I'm not forgiving anyone in my family for any infraction, for the fact that they revealed to me that the vast majority of my family don't like me. They made that blatantly obvious this past visit for the funeral. And they made it blatantly obvious that they're ashamed of me because I'm not what they are. So they made it blatantly obvious. We don't like you, and we are, to some level, we're ashamed of you. And the funny thing was, because I was in this space, I was okay. In a way that I had never been before from going through this process of forgiving. And it's an entirely different realization when you say, I know what this means now. To get to the place where I haven't pitched a tent, I'm not living there, but I visited. I've got a postcard from that place that says there's nothing to forgive. All of us are dancing this amazing dance. And when toes are stepped on, they're meant to be stepped on. Because it teaches the one leading or the one being led, there's a shift to make so that we can move in harmony. So we dance. And so, oops, step on the, let's make an adjustment. Anytime we think we're good, turn on the news. Something in the news is going to tell that monkey that's on your shoulder, because you know what that monkey mind does. Monkey mind gets to chattering, gets to hitting you in your head, slapping you in your jaw with a banana. But what is the monkey mind doing? It's serving a purpose. It's showing you that there's something in you that's calling for healing. Whether it's, when we talk about the law of attraction, we already know that for source can manifest a button or a mansion. It makes no difference. This tiny little infraction of when I went to the store and put my hand out to get the change, the person didn't put it in my hand, they put it on the counter. Did I feel something because, how rude. That's my ego saying that. Rather than saying, maybe the person, something's going on in their mind. Something else is going on in their life where they're thinking, my daughter was just diagnosed with, or they're thinking, oh my goodness, my son or transgender daughter, this is their first day of college. I hope they are okay. I don't know what's going through that person's mind. But the moment I let my feelings get into it, small or something as major as someone tried to take my life, someone shoots at me, there is no measurement. Both of them involve some level of offense, some level of fear. Now, funeral happens, it's all done and over. I'm on Facebook, and you get the whole, oh, so sorry to hear about your brother, sorry to hear about your loss. My brother's not lost. Now, when I'm hearing that from the traditional Christian folks or folks in my family, whatever, I'm used to it. When I hear it from other metaphysicians, mystics, etc., it's like, what are you saying? Like, do you believe in loss? Or are we saying that because we're regurgitating the traditional thing of, I don't know what to say when this happens, so I know it's comfortable to say, sorry for your loss. But there is no loss in spirit. You can't fall out of the circle. You can't be like, oh, I'm glittered. How do I get back in? There is no outside of the all-encompassing. So there is no loss. There is no death. You know, I'm reading that wonderful Emma Curtis Hopkins woman. Oh my goodness. Whew. It's amazing to read some of the older writings by the people who, especially since she's the teacher of teachers, who influenced Holmes and Fillmore and the Brooks sisters and stuff. And it's like, look, there's this, that's it, and it's done. There is no debating. And she outright says, there is no death. Stop talking about it. Because if we're talking about it, we're making it a thing. And it's not. When we talk about sin, we talk about it in a way that makes it a thing. Like there is actually this separation, and there isn't. So to say, may your brother rest in peace, what is it? That implies that he's laying in the ground, and there is no, the peace that he would be resting in is the same peace he would have access to while in his physical temple. So there is no separate, because we get into that while you're here, you should be suffering, you're human, and be in pain, and then when you die, the gates of heaven open and all is wonderful. And it's a lie. And anything in our consciousness that plays into that concept, we are doing ourselves a disservice. It's time for us to come down, bring it back, go all the way down and say, I forgive myself for anything. There's a wonderful Buddhist prayer where it's like, look, I forgive you for anything that I may have assumed that, and I forgive me for anything. It's like this huge encompassing, I'm wiping the entire board clean. Why does Peter say in the Bible, so, Jesus, listen here, got a question for you. When my brother comes over here and sins against me, how many times am I supposed to forgive him for this offense? 7 times? To which Jesus says, how many times have I told you? 7 is not enough. 70 times 7. Which means, until there is no more need to forgive. You forgive until there is no more need to forgive. Forgiveness is like an onion. You peel it. You cry a little bit, you peel it more. You cry a little bit more and you peel it more till you get to the center. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of forgiveness? 3. It's the magic number. So you have to get to this place of realizing it's not, because we talk forgiveness, Course in Miracles talks about it, and the Bible talks about it, and it talks about it, and the Bible says, before you lay your gift on the altar, if you got something going on, you need to go reconcile. You need to go and say, this separation between you and I need to reconcile, I need to close the gap. I need to bring us back together. Because if I have that whatever in my consciousness that you pissed me off, hey, Amy, let's sing in the choir today. Let's have service. Woo-hoo. But I'm mad at you. Then I can do all the jumping and singing and shouting and whatever, because my consciousness is still on that. My consciousness is still on lack and scarcity. My consciousness is still on fear. If I'm having a meeting, whether it's a board meeting, a teacher meeting, a parent-teacher meeting, a whatever kind of meeting, if I am having some kind of crawl in the spine of the small of my back, and then I go out in the world and sing all these wonderful songs and hymns and hey, there's only one and namaste, but my consciousness is grounded in, I'm mad at you, I want another donut. Somewhere in my consciousness, I'm still putting up walls. Forgiveness 101 is about coming back and saying, why am I mad at you? Not just that I need to forgive you. Why am I offended that you ate the donut? What did you say at the meeting that made me feel this way? When you said rest in peace, why did I feel like, why did I get into my feelings about that? It's my call to sit down with my ego and say, listen, when he said that, what was the problem?
No, I hear you. I hear you. So what I hear you saying is that what he said hurt your feelings. Oh, it's okay. Go ahead, cry. Let it out. Let it out. Let it out. But if I don't have that conversation, then it's just going to be a surface level of forgiveness. It's never going to boil down to the place where I realize this level of forgiveness, which bridges me to this level of forgiveness, to where I realize it is not possible for God to offend God. It is not possible for God to hurt God. It's possible for that self to hurt that self, but only because that self doesn't recognize that self as this one self. Because the moment I see and say, as hard as this is, you shot and killed those people in Orlando, and I forgive you. As hard as it is, when someone walks up to me and calls me either the F word or the N word, with all my martial arts background, I forgive you. Am I going to tolerate or allow you to touch me? No. Which is challenging because there's that passage in the Bible where, well, if someone offer them the other cheek. Metaphysically, that means wipe it off. Let it go. Realize that it happened, but you have another one. Turn the other cheek. Turn a different direction. Face. Why does it say in Psalms, I will lift my eyes up to the hills from whence my help comes? If you can look up, raise your consciousness up, then you realize capital self is the only self there is. There is nothing ultimately to fear when we know this is here. There is no death when we realize God cannot die. Yes, this flesh will be let go. Yes, but we are not this flesh. Why did Viktor Frankl say, when I realized that the Nazis could not touch me, I was free? And when I realized that I was free, I realized that they were the ones who were enslaved. They were the ones bound and chained in the concentration camp, not me. And when he had that realization, he knew he was going to get out. Far too many of us are enslaving ourselves to petty little things, infractions. Well, you didn't say, I came in the sanctuary, you didn't say hello. You said hello to everybody else, you didn't say hello to me. And I'm in my feelings. Why am I offended? If you want to, did I go up and say it? Good morning, Irina, how are you? Did I take it upon myself? Or did I say, well, she didn't speak to me? That's what, you saw her, and then I build it. And now I'm spreading the venom that I got to somebody else. And I might spread it to 2 or 3 other people. And then depending on, well, I don't like her anyway. And then we built this thing that doesn't exist. All because this lowercase s self sees and believes in this thing called separation. Every time you have service, if somebody in here annoys you before you walk out the door, bless, pray, treat, something. Don't leave this sacred space with this thing on your back called offense. If you have a core council meeting or you have a meeting at school, don't leave the meeting without saying, I didn't agree with what you said at the meeting, but we're good because I'm not taking it as a personal attack on me. And then leave peacefully. When you're in your car or whatever it is, breathe and let go. Realize that this is only a small portion of who and what you are. Someone spills coffee on your dress that you just got, and it's that is my favorite dress. But it's a dress that you can change or possibly buy a new one. But it's not you. Stop identifying what we wear with who we are. Move to knowing the truth about who and what we are. Capital S, self. Capital L, love. Capital I am that I am. Let's treat.
centering ourselves and knowing in this moment, right here, right now, that we are God breathing itself as us. As we move throughout our day, we know that there is a power and a presence that we continually, infinitely have access to, not as some outside resource, but completely as an internal, in consciousness, ever available resource. Because as we already know, that the mind we use is the mind of God, there is no other. That means all the wisdom that is God, that is source, that is creation itself, is the very same wisdom that flows in us and through us and shows up as us. The same love, the same power, the same prosperity, the same infinite level of there's nothing to forgive because there's only one. So the words I speak right now, I speak not just for myself, but for everyone who is ready to accept and allow this truth to show up in their life, as their life. Knowing that there is only God, there is only source. Anything in our lives, anything in my life, anything in the experience that we call human, that shows something that may be contrary to truth. The only thing we need to do is stand on the foundation of, I know who I am. I know what I am. I will not judge by appearance. I will not judge by the effect that I see, but I will judge rightly based upon the cause. And the first cause is love. God is love in action. And anything showing up that is counter to that is a lie. It is an illusion. And though it may be a fact, it is not the truth. So in gratitude, I stand and affirm that right here, right now, as we are living and moving and being breathed by creation itself, we realize that as things come before us that need forgiving, we are more than capable of forgiving them. Because at whatever level of consciousness we may be, as things come to us, they come to us for a reason. And while in this life experience, we may ebb and flow through levels of forgiveness, levels of prosperity, levels of health and well-being, we know that at any time we can ground ourselves in the oneness and have ever-increasing levels of prosperity, ever-increasing levels of health and well-being, of love, of joy, of bliss, of passion, of peace and serenity. So in gratitude, I release these words into the law, knowing that we are already forgiven, because there is nothing that God needs to forgive in us, as us. God does not need to forgive itself. We are worthy, we are enough. Not good enough, but we are good, period. We are enough, period. We are sacred, we are blessed, and I release these words knowing it is already so, and so it is.